fashion maven, author, and philanthropist, Yolanda Cellucci. In 1968, entrepreneur Yolanda Cellucci entered Boston's fashion scene and left a dazzling and indelible mark. The city's retail fashion scene at the time was robust, so Yolanda forged a business model focused on women's wear and self-care in a holistic head-turning way. Her shop, Yolanda's, was based in Waltham, Mass, and became a hotspot for lavish evening and wedding ensembles. In addition to offering high-profile American and international designs, the store provided style consultations, personal shopping, cosmetology services, and a day spa with light refreshments all under one roof. Throughout the late 20th century, Yolanda's became a household name throughout the region and a shorthand for glitz and glamour. Luxury cars played an important role in Yolanda's marketing strategies. She bought an Excalibur, a car introduced in 1965 that featured designs inspired by a late 1920s Mercedes-Benz. With a vanity license plate that read Yolanda, the car was her billboard on wheels. She made it available to brides and clients for special events and eventually added sedan and limousine versions. Yolanda has hosted fashion shows and galas benefiting charitable causes, showcasing her merchandise, and raising funds for health, human services, arts, and education. For more than 40 years, Yolanda's was the place where beautiful lifestyles begin. And today, Yolanda doesn't know the meaning of slow down. She hosts her own cable access show, just released a book about her life called Beyond the Glitz and Glamour, and has published 3 in a series of 10 children's books she's writing in memory of her daughter, Linda Cole. BFFs, please join me in welcoming the goddess of glitz and glamour, Yolanda Cellucci.
Thank you, Pam. Business forward females are empowering women everywhere here at the Chamber. It is my pleasure to be here. I'm just going to touch upon a few things about my life, because we do have books here available for you, but I want you to have a chance to ask questions, because I could probably bore you with a 40-year history of Yolanda's. Going back, we're going to roll back to 1965, when I had got married early on. My husband and I were both 21 years old, and he started a company. And wasn't going so well, and I was forced to go to work because my hair was losing my hair. And I had to buy a wig to go to work and style it myself. And I couldn't believe how many people would stop me and say, I love your hair. And I'd say, it's a wig. It's a wig. Oh, my mom needs a wig. Where did you buy it? I started helping other people for nothing. I didn't have a business then. I started selling wigs out of the trunk of my car. And then I started doing like full brush people. I had little parties. We had wig parties. Way back years ago, a house Yankee approached me and said, could you do a house party and do some wigs and let us try them on? And that's how I started. Selling wigs out of the trunk of my car. Of course, I had 2 little girls at the time. And they were embarrassed because I would drive them as blonde and pick them up as a redhead. They were embarrassed and used to say, could you wear the same color when you drive us so we know what car to run to? Of course, they were at school that the nuns didn't understand, and they thought I was like on that night with the ladies going out because they couldn't figure out why I was dressed up every morning. Of course, I was trying to start a little business. That was back in '68. It got so busy for me doing these that my husband said, why don't you open a place? And I was driving one day and found this cute little place in 1973 that was a little funeral parlor. And I thought, what a cute place. I bet I could sell my wigs out there. But when I decided to rent it, it was too big. So I decided to put in a beauty salon. I tried to rent it. I tried to put in a boutique. I wanted to rent it. I just wanted to sell wigs. Nobody would do it. They didn't think it was a good idea. So I did it myself. hired a couple of hairdressers. I bought some clothes in New York. I hired a friend of mine that was a model that had a great body. We opened a health club in the basement. And all of a sudden, we were in business. I couldn't afford employees, so what did I do? Some of the ladies at Rosary Academy would pick up my children and bring them at the end of the day, and then they wanted to work for me. So we ended up having a business. In 5 years, we outgrew it. The building was exploding. We had no place to park. We couldn't take half our customers, and my lease was up. We were offered to buy the building, but at that particular time, there was no way we could afford it. My husband said, "What if I build you a building?" I said, "You're kidding," because he was doing well at the time. He ended up building me a building on a lot that he had a house. And he said, "I'll turn it over to you for $1, and I'll build you a place. How's that?" And he did. And that was back in '75. So we just kept growing and growing. And when we moved in, we decided to put in a health spa, a swimming pool, a coffee shop, a beauty salon, a fashion salon, a fur salon, and a shoe salon. But I owned it all at the time. But I hired people. And it just grew. It grew to a point. At that time, we weren't carrying wedding gowns. And one of the salesmen said one day, "Why don't you carry wedding gowns?" I said, "No, it's a lot of work. Brides, become a problem." Anyway, he said, "Trust me, if you start buying wedding gowns, you're going to see, then they'll want to buy everything else. They'll get their hair done, they'll want to get them to get into their dresses." And it ended up, we bought a rack of 10 dresses, and after the first sale, and after that first wedding, everyone wanted to come to Yolanda's. And then further on, we decided, how do we increase our business? And I saw this Excalibur that was so exotic looking, I couldn't resist the car. And I bought that car, and that car really did for me what any business would do. It was a driving billboard. It was beautiful, it was white, it was shiny. Everyone wanted to take a picture with the car. Then they'd see the plate and say, "Yolanda's, isn't that store?" And I had a hard time in the beginning getting customers. So what did I do? I would dress very fancy, wear a big hat, go to lunch every day at a local restaurant, and tell my girls to call me and have me paged. And he said, "What are we going to do that for?" I said, "Just do me a favor, call me and have me paged." And that's what we did. And then I would get up and walk across, all dressed up with this big hat. "Who's that lady?" "Oh, that's Yolanda." "Oh, Yolanda's, that's right, that's that store. I never went there. Maybe I should go." So we did a lot of tricky things to make business work. But it was fun. I mean, it's all in my book. You'll see a lot of it and hear a lot of it. But I really want to give you a chance to really ask the questions. The business went on for years. It just kept growing. My husband kept adding on to the business. But I was fortunate. I had a husband that was very helpful in every single way as far as maintaining the building. When he'd come in sometimes, he'd just come for lunch and come to see me, and the girls would say, "Well, by the way, the sauna's not hot enough, or the swimming pool is too cold." So he became the maintenance man. But honestly, I couldn't have done it without him. And it was part of the success of Yolanda's having him there. But the building he built just kept growing and growing and growing, and we kept adding. And at the end of my career, we found that what did brides need? They needed a photographer, they needed a cake, they needed tuxedos, they needed bridesmaids, they needed invitations, they needed to travel. I approached all the people that I did business with and said, "Would you like to rent space in my building?" And they did. Now, if I was smarter years ago, I would have done that sooner, because that really just kicked off. Every bride wanted to come to Yolanda's because They didn't have to worry about getting a mother's dress somewhere else, or get shoes somewhere else, or maybe book their honeymoon. They could do it all there. So Yolanda's became very successful. And then people would say, why did you sell? We're at the height of our business. And I was approached several times of selling my business. I was 75 at the time. And I had a slight heart attack. And my daughters kept saying, Mom, you don't need to do this anymore. You're so successful. I said, I know, but you don't understand. I'm at the busiest point of my life. I don't want to give up. She said, that's when you give up. Not when you're down. It's when you're at the height of your career. And we did. We didn't sell it to anyone because most people wanted me to stay on. And I couldn't do that because they wanted to change the whole concept we had. But the abutters near me wanted the property and the building very badly. And they came up with the right price. When they came up with the right price, I said, I'd do it, but you gotta give me at least 6 months, because I wanna go out right. I wanna make sure every bride gets her dress, that every single person has a gift certificate, is honored. It took me 5 years to do that, but I was able to do it by approaching competitors. I called a beauty salon, who was basically in competition with us, and said, would you like to have all the gift cards? And people would have to come here instead of to my place, which he did. I approached a bridal salon and said, how would you like every bride to pick up their gown here? I'll come in, we'll finish it, I'll give you 10% of the sale, you can sell the veil, the alterations, whatever you want. And she did, and that's how we did it. Health club next door. I said all of my health club members have to have a health club membership from you at a discounted rate. And they did. So we were able to honor our wishes to everybody that they got what they paid for. And I went on to do other things. So I'm going to open it up for questions. Any? You must have some. Yes.
Thank you for sharing your story. My question to you is, where did your business acumen come from? Who inspired you?
Well, no one really. It was a need for money. I had to find a way. When I first started selling wigs, I realized people needed makeup, right? They're going to change the hair color, the makeup had to be right. And then, of course, if your makeup looks good and your hair looks good, you need a perfect outfit. So I started making my own clothes. And I started, when I was doing the wig shows, I started putting makeup on clients. And then I started showing them clothes that I made. They could make their own clothes. And they wanted to buy them. And I was shocked that you wanted to buy something I made. So basically, it's just fall down, learn, and get back up again. But I love people, and I love life, and I love doing things and learning. And you learn from trial and error, basically.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Did you find, when you started, because it was a long time ago when you first mentioned how you bought a car and you started your own business, did you find being a woman, you had difficulty? Did you ever have to borrow money?
Always difficult, yes. Yeah, that's a great question. When I went for the first to build the building, of course, my husband said he'd build it, but we needed money to build it. And the banks, when I told them the idea I had, and of course I was talking about lavish clothes and outlandish clothes, and gorgeous things, he was saying that will never work. And I said, I know it'll work. And he said, well, we can't lend you. I was borrowing at the time $250,000. And back in those days, it was a lot of money. And we had to put our house up. And we had a deal that if the house didn't, the house was up, which meant I was going to lose my home if the business didn't work. So my husband and I both worked together hard. He basically did the building, and we were able to pay back the loan within the 6 months. The building was up and running. But the first thing we did when we opened the building, we we approached the American Cancer Society, because my father had cancer at the time, and told them that I'd like to open it up with a party for them and charge people to see the store. That's kicked it off. That was a business decision. We charged $50 a person, and of course who came? Doctors, nurses, people that had a few dollars, and loved the lavish clothes because they all went to big parties. And that's how we started, basically, and by donating. And after that, every show I did was for a benefit, by the way. Yes, you have a question?
I did. So what do you do now to keep yourself busy?
A little too much sometimes, but I love every minute of it. I was approached the exact year that I sold, 2009. I was at a Karen Polito event, and a girl walked up to me and said, I'm the director of the station in Waltham. Would you like to do fashion shows? And I said, no, I just closed. And she said, yeah, but you can still do it. And I said, yes, you can have your own show. You can do whatever you want. You can talk, you can do a show, it'll be your show. We call it Yolanda Show. And I said, not a bad idea. And I did. I took that. And then I started joining, of course, the Chamber of Commerce I already had joined, being Yolanda's. But I started joining other organizations like the Kiwanis and Rotary, and now I'm a Lion. They accept women now. The Lions accept women. So yeah, I stay pretty active in the community. Love every minute of it. We have a great mayor in our city, Mayor McCarthy, who I love. And yeah, I'm involved, and we just raise money for much of the district. And it's a very full, happy life. Very fortunate. Yes?
What was one of your favorite accomplishments of all your years of business?
I think being able to keep a great marriage and a family together. I worked a lot of long hours, sometimes 7 days a week. The girls, both my daughters, are beautiful young ladies, but they had to learn. They had a checklist that you still teach and kind of tell other people about how I taught them. I had a punch list for them. You know, they had to make the bed in the morning, and they had to make sure they got the dinner ready, they had to make the salad, they had to take the clothes out of the dryer. In order because we had work. I had to go to work. So keeping a family together, we always had Sunday dinners. Even if I went to the store to clean the store, I would go back and my whole family would come to town, which we still do. Still. That's my biggest accomplishment. Yes?
Did you have any mentors throughout your years of business, either in person locally or in books or other sources?
No, there was really no one around that I could copy because there was nothing. I mean, it was mostly of my own imagination to the fact of, you hear men go play golf, men go to the bar, men go to the football game. But I wanted Yolanda's to be a place where women could come and feel special. They could exercise, work out, swim, sauna, steam, get their hair done, shop for something. Just feel special. I think women need that. There's not enough women that take care of themselves. First thing in the morning, you've got to take care of yourself. And you love your kids, but they have to do things too. And you love your husband, but you gotta let him know. I also need time for me. And I think that's the message I try to tell women every single day. And they'll say, well, I don't have time. Make the time. Yes?
So if someone was starting a clothing business today, what advice would you give?
Start bringing in clothes women can wear. Not these things that are, get rid of the Lululemon pants. And if you're gonna wear it, put a long jacket over the back of you. And stop having trends. I mean, I heard someone walk up to me the other day and they said, wow, you're not gonna be able to wear that much longer. It's fall. And I just looked at her and said, well, girlfriend's girlfriend. And the girlfriend says, it's not you. What is her? What? She never was a bride before. It's not her. Why are you telling her that? And we have a crying bride. She doesn't know. Now she's confused, and it takes her 6 months to find a dress because her girlfriend didn't like the first one that she loved. She could have been done already. She would have saved money and she would have been happy, but she wasn't because the girlfriend was there. Leave your girlfriends home. Because your mother won't let you. Your mother is there for you. She wants you to look the best. Your girlfriend, I'm not too sure.
Yes, I have a question about owning a business as a woman in the year that you owned a business. Did you have to have your husband as a co-signer when you owned your LLC? Or your corporation?
No. We borrowed a small amount in the beginning, we paid it back right on time. The whole secret, I think, to business shoes is don't go too fast. When I was approached right away to open another one. I never did that. I just bought what I could afford and paid it back. And once you have that established, that payment, you'll be fine. But no, I was always on my own.
That's awesome.
And only in the beginning, the very first store, because they didn't know who I was or whatever. We did have to co-sign for the house, yes, the very first one. After that,
That's awesome.
yes.
Yolanda, I understand you have a lot of celebrities in your store. Who are some of the people that...
Well, my favorite was Natalie Cole because she was a real person. We had a private dressing room, so they liked to come in. Ava Gabor, we had many. Local celebrities, of course, were dressed. Susan Warren, Natalie Jacobson, you name it. I think all of them. Trying to think some of their names. But yeah, mostly all the local TV people we did. Some we didn't get credit for, and instead we took commercial time. See, now, Natalie for a while was dressed from LA Trojans, as you probably remember. But I didn't want that. I would rather have the commercial time instead. So the value, Liz Walker, well, still friendly with Liz. She's amazing. Great. Yes.
What would you like your legacy to be?
Just a family person that loves life, loves people. I think probably the charity work that I do. Of course, my daughter, as you know, I started the children's books because I lost her to cancer, which is difficult because I still try to train myself to talk about it without crying. But she was my top model. She was the girl that, she was really the face of Yolanda. She started in a show off, every fashion show I did. She put the music together. She was the one that really convinced me to sell my first business, and she said, Mom, you're 75 years old, and I want to be able to have lunch with you one day without somebody stopping and asking you a question. So she was pretty special, but I think my legacy would be just loving people, trying to help where I can help, helping people in business, helping people just keep their lives together. I always feel bad. You know, that many of my friends have lost children, not only myself, many people have. And they can't deal with it. And it is difficult to deal with. But through the books, the first book that I wrote about Linda because she always told me that I taught her well. And as I said, I have a list for them. They had to make their own bed, they had to do that. And her bed was always a mess. So I stayed one night and I fixed it and I said, this is how it's supposed to look. So I don't want to come home one night and say, oh, you're right, Mom, you're right. So I came back the next day and it looked perfect. And the next day and the next day. And finally one morning I went in because she hadn't woken up early enough and she was sleeping in the sleeping bag. And the reason it looked so good, she was very tricky. She took all the compliments. And she used to love to sing and dance. And we could be in a restaurant and she'd be singing her heart out and leaning over the, back in those days we had Howard Johnson's and she'd be in Howard Johnson standing up in the booth singing to the people in back and I'd say, sit down, you bought. They liked me, they liked to hear me sing. She'd just sing louder and louder and louder. But I have all of those things in her books and it does make me smile. And the memories that God did give us anyway. Yes?
Hi, thank you for sharing your story. Do you have like a personal mantra or something that you say to yourself to help you get through the tough times?
Yeah, I pray a lot. In fact, this is an interesting story. You might want to know about it, which I'm going to tell them I'm going to resign from this week from Rotary because when I was out a couple of weeks, I heard they passed. They're not going to salute the flag anymore, and they're not going to pray anymore. And I said, why? And they said, well, you know, diversity, we want young people to join, and they don't want us to pray. And I said, well, I think we should all pray, and if they don't want to, they can stay silent, or they can pray in any prayer or whoever they want to pray to. But I start my day by saying, thank you, God, for another day, especially at my age. I gotta say thank you, God, for every day. And at night, I say thank you for a good day. I mean, it's not that, it's any religion you are, whatever you are, you should be allowed to pray. And you have a great country, and I think you should salute the flag. So I don't want to belong to an organization that doesn't do that. So I'm dropping it. But I'm not going to send a letter. I'm going to go and tell them. That's how I feel. Yes?
You told me you have clients that you shop for. What's your tip? What's a secret of shopping well?
Listening. Listen hard to what they say. I have my clients, as I said, when I shop with them, I have certain ones. They can't wear wool, they won't go without a collar, or they don't like anything that's too short. You know, you have to know your client and listen hard. And I have all types. I have from a size 2 to a size 5X. And the 5X lady, sometimes I have to have things made for her. So I stay in touch with a lot of my designer friends that do. Right now, he's making a suit for my client who is a 5X, and she's a great attorney. She needs to look good. She doesn't want to look like a man. She doesn't want to look too frilly. And of course, she's not going to wear white. She said, I'm trying to push her into white. Yes.
So you've had the opportunity to span many generations throughout your business, and you have children and grandchildren, great-grandchild. What advice would you give today's young women who are maybe just starting out, just graduating from high school or college, looking to go out to the world? What would you tell them?
As far as what?
Just advice, like how to get started, what direction to take, how to...
If you have an idea, I don't care if you want to have you love jeans and you want to sell jeans and you want to open a shop and sell jeans. Search out the best as you can find, but wear them yourself. I always wore the same clothes that I sold. I did never, in my girls, I either had them in a uniform at my salon. You had to wear a black dress or white, black and white. You had to have a name tag, and if you didn't wear black and white, then whatever you bought in the salon, you could wear, but it had to be from the salon. I convinced them that they had to do that. But I think that whatever dream you have, like I say, if it's jeans you love and you love wearing them, then you can sell them because you love wearing them. So if you have an idea, I don't care what it is, you can make it work. Just try it. I mean, the worst thing you can do is close it, right? Try it. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, but be dedicated. It's not 9 to 5. You're not going to make money right away. So you have to remember that too. I think most people think, well, I'll be all set if I have my own company now. Well, today it's difficult anyway because you can't get help. Everybody wants a 4-day week, but they want a 7-day paycheck. It is difficult today, very difficult. But I think you can do it. But you have to be passionate about it. You have to love it. I mean, I didn't just sell wigs, I wore wigs. And when I sold them, I took them off, I looked terrible underneath because your hair's all crushed. But that's the chance you take in order if you want to sell. Yes.
Aside from your daughter, who's your favorite model and who's your favorite designer?
Well, I really don't have, my favorite designer was Bob Mann, he'll always be. We were friends, we sold his stuff well. By the way, I did not tell you that if you want to see some of my fashions, they are now on exhibit at the Peabody Essex Museum. And they'll be there for another year. They just had a big party for me, and I gave them over $1 million worth of dresses that I had left from Bob Mackie and the rest. I bought things that I knew would never sell, would bring me customers. And the MFA just had one of my bridal dresses on display, and all pearl. The whole dress was made of strands of pearls. So the MFA has a lot more, but they haven't shown them yet. They only showed one. But PB has a big exhibit. And you'll keep it exhibit. It's up now. It's on display at the time. Yes, ma'am.
How did you develop relationships with the designers, and were there any designers that you had to really work to convince to let them?
Oh, I did in the beginning. Boston's a conservative town, as you know, and the things I did with Darren. I remember buying a paper wedding gown, and someone said, "You're out of your mind. What are you going to do with that?" It was made out of aluminum foil. And I did it for a fashion show, and I thought it was cute and unique. And it was costly. But guess what? Not only did I show it in a fashion show, somebody bought it for their daughter, because he owned a paper company, and he thought it'd be pretty clever if his daughter wore a paper wedding dress. So I bought many dresses that I thought would never sell, and sold. But I liked it, so it was easy for me to sell it. So I think you should do what you want to do. Try it. Don't be afraid. Just do it. What's the worst that can happen? You got one life to live. This is not a dress rehearsal. You got one shot. If I want to be 21 again, it's not going to happen. So, I can only tell you, just do whatever you want to do. Because life is very short. Yes, dear.
I know your daughter has a niche market in the wedding.
Oh, yes.
Want to tell everybody what that's about?
Sandra got approached when she was in college. I made them work while she went to college, when they went to college. I didn't pay for them, like, they had to do it, they had to work. And she wanted to work in New York, which she did. And she complained all the time that some of my friends and others pay for everything. I said, no, I'm not going to pay for everything. You're going to have to get a job. And she started making these ridiculous things for gypsies. And gypsies are all over the country. They're in Europe, they're everywhere. And I guess her word got out to somebody, this TV station, that they wanted to do a show on the gypsies called My Big Fat American Gypsy Weddings. It's on TLC. They fight, they hit each other. It was a crazy damn show. I only watch it to see her dresses, that's all. But she started selling to them, and then they gave her this show, which went on for 7 years. She now has business all over the world. She's a small shop. She employs about 12 people. She makes dresses that you would say, oh, I wouldn't buy that. I've never wear them. But she does sell them, and sells them for big money, and they're quite beautiful. She does christening, communion, bar mitzvah, but that's a separate clientele. But she's known for that, and her business is called Sandra Cellucci, if you ever look it up online. She took my husband's name and shortened it. Her name is Alessandra, but she hated her name. She hated everything I did. She made fun of everything I did, but now she's making the same dresses. She's some gypsies. So, they come around. The kids come around after. I wish they would when I was younger. Y'all set?
What do you do to stay
I work out. I eat pretty healthy. I love fish. My pasta on Sunday, I don't give up because I like pasta on Sunday. We always had Sunday dinner, so we had good pasta. But yeah, you have to kind of watch it. You can't just go crazy. You know, I love my ice cream, but not every night. I think it's just, as I said earlier, treat yourself kindly. Honestly, you're all business women, and it's fine to be all business. When it comes to yourself and your body, take care of yourself, because you really, really are the only one that cares. Look in the mirror and say, you know what, I think I'll make myself up today. You know what, I think I'll go get a haircut. I think I'll get myself all dolled up. I'm gonna get myself a new outfit. Do it. Feel better, you'll sell more stuff, and you'll be happier, trust me. Yes?
How are you related to our ex-governor, Cellucci?
My husband's second cousin. And I ended up being very close to Paul and his wife, who I was dressing for a long time when he was as governor. That's a very terrible disease, ALS. So it comes on very quickly. It's a very nice thing. Yes, dear?
I just wanted to say I love your story. It's very inspirational, and it really is the American dream.
Yes, it is.
You have a passion, you work hard, and you achieve your goals.
Exactly.
And I just wanted to say, I think you're absolutely fabulous, and I love your outfit. I love it.
Thank you very much. You're so gracious. And in fact, I have brought some books if you like. They are all on Amazon, so you can buy them on Amazon. They're $24.95 and they're $24.95, but the money goes to St. Jude's. But for today, for you girls, if you buy them, they're $20 a piece. Okay? Makes it easy.
And it's such joy when we get to celebrate strong, independent, fierce women. And Yolanda is all that. Let's give her a huge round of applause for her. I have to tell you, Yolanda, many women came up to me when you arrived and said, now that's where I want to be when I'm her age, right? Exactly. Your energy, your strength, and the foresight